Is it working? What's up, everybody? Nice to meet you again. A second time. Okay. Let's see here. This is always a good time, isn't it? Hey, Tyler, how you doing? Okay, let me go get my stuff. Okay. It's the time. That's my Mario voice. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. So today we're going to be going over That's So Raven. That's So Raven, as the kids say. Okay, I like that, like that. How do I look? Welcome to America. I'm doing That's So Raven. Oh, thumbnails are so hard. I'm so bad at thumbnails. Like, if you notice on my channel, they're so inconsistent. They're just like whatever I want them to be, I feel like. Okay. What's up, Reckless? Yeah, it's Johnny2000. Legally. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Oh, okay. A rewatch of Ned's Declassified. I've been thinking about it. I feel like if I did have that, I would have done it already for the new school year, but I don't know. It's not that time. Okay, let me... I need to refresh. It's so hard because I watch like 20 episodes at a time and then I go back and do all the videos for them. Or I do all the commentary on them and it's like I can't even remember what they are. That's so Rabin. Hey, Neil. How are you doing? Oh, Neil. I miss you. We used to hang out so much on the streams with the Mario Eclipse. Then I had to be an adult, huh? Okay. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. What's up? I'm just recording my show. I like this. It is shipping without getting into shipping. Okay. Okay, this one's funny. Let's see here. Okay, let's start this. Oh, Davius. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining my live stream. Yeah, I don't normally do this. Actually, yeah, I do now. I guess I do normally do this. Huh, interesting. Okay, so then we have Season 1, Episode 10, Ye Olde Dating Game. And I actually find this one super funny because they have an entire medieval dance set up. I mean, it's Chelsea's idea, and obviously Eddie thinks it's like ridiculous, and he's like the talent that's going to perform there, and he has to figure out something medieval that's also cool. I don't know. That's the funny part. But the real plot line is that Raven is anticipating having a boyfriend, and it's somebody Oh, she has a vision that this guy is like, you're the only one for me, pretty much. And Raven's like, oh, this is exciting. I can't wait for somebody to ask me to the prom. Who's it gonna be? And then Eddie's like, oh, Stinky Ben is gonna do it. And they're like, oh, that's awkward. And it's so hard because this guy is so sweet and understanding. So the fact that everybody treats him horribly is kind of sad. I mean, I definitely think somebody needs to tell him he needs to put on deodorant, but you can't look at him like he's less of a person. Raven ends up spotting the guy from her vision, and in the class they have together. Wait, do they have the class together? His name's Gabriel. So Raven has a crush on this guy named Gabriel, and he's this big photographer guy. And then he is the one who does inevitably ask her to the dance. But like many of her visions, she is not able to get the full scope of the vision. She just only can get what she sees, which is a really cool concept because she can make the conclusions herself, which is so funny. Of course, a teenager would do something like that, you know? So Ben shows up to Raven's house to ask her to the dance, and of course she's like embarrassed. So Raven ends up accepting Stinky Ben's invitation to the dance because she's under the impression that Gabriel is actually going with somebody else, so maybe her vision was wrong. But then when she realizes Eddie was wrong, he isn't going with anybody, so she says yes to two guys. What is like? What is this episode like? Probably every other prom episode. Literally, Miley had this exact situation happen in Hannah Montana where she asked out, where she wanted somebody to ask her out. She ended up saying yes to somebody else, but then not wanting to go. It's just all this drama. Being a teenager is so weird when you're like working on approving and disapproving of people in your social circle. It's a weird power you have, but you don't realize you have it until you're like much older, which is why this episode's so funny. Or interesting. I guess I don't think it's funny, like that. Well, it's funny. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Keep that in though. Nice to see you, Sean. Thanks for joining. Okay. So then Raven basically is like, Corey, make me look bad so Stinky Ben does not want to actually go to the dance with me. And of course, he just wants to go with her more, which is even more ridiculous, him doubling down. It's so unappealing, all the outfits they have to wear in this episode. Like, of course you wouldn't want your dance to be medieval themed. Like, it's just, there's something about it that's so off-putting. I mean, seeing Eddie behind the DJ, actually leaning into it kind of makes it kind of cool. But, for the most part, this is not a good idea. So Raven ends up trying to look gross for Ben, but put together and nice, but girlfriend material for Gabriel. So she's got quite the predicament in this episode. She even gets stuck in one of those medieval gurneys. Is that a gurney? Yeah, I guess it is. She gets stuck in a gurney during prom, which is insane. She ends up walking in on Gabriel talking to his girlfriend. Turns out he has a girlfriend. And apparently, he loves her so much, and she watches him confess. And I feel really bad for her. Like, this would break my heart if I had a crush on somebody and they were just like, nope, don't worry. Like, I'm just there because it's pitying them. And then Raven kind of gets her karma because she knows how it feels given the situation she has with Ben. And the moral lesson is treat people the way you want to be treated. Great episode. I feel like the best part of this episode is like the moment where she realizes that like she's not going to be with this guy. For some reason, it just hit me really hard, and I just related to it a lot. The next episode is called Dissin' Cousins, episode 11. And in this one, Raven has a cousin coming, and they do not get along at all. Again, reminds me of the Hannah Montana episode where her and her cousin don't get along at all. So they really hate each other. They act nice in front of each other, which is definitely like a really accurate portrayal of people that don't like each other. I feel like I hate it when people are pretty overly like, oh, I hate you. Like, it's like, is that realistic anymore? Not really. And this girl goes all around the world, apparently, so she thinks she's all better than Raven, and there's this kind of, like, resentment in the relationship that just keeps setting them off. And it actually goes back to Eddie. Raven has a vision that she's going to kiss Eddie. And Eddie is, like, usually this boy next door that, like, just wants to be with her, but there's not really a chance. So when this is actually looking possible, Raven has a plan. So she's like, why don't you spend the week with her, and we go do actual things we want to do? And this is so childlike, like, just... Uh, it's so funny to reminisce on the days where, like, you just used to meet people through friends or at each other's houses when you're, like... I don't know, it's just really genuine. When Raven realizes that she's going to have... Oh, scrap what I said before, actually, because that's not kind of what happened. So once Raven gets this vision that this girl is going to have a crush on Eddie, she basically asks Eddie to pretend to be her boyfriend, so that way she could actually have one thing to one-up her cousin with, which... I mean, it's a stereotypical episode where it's like you have family visiting and you want to seem better than you were, and Raven's really good at, like, making it seem realistic. Obviously, there's so many jokes about them dating, which would never actually happen. Disney did a good job at, like, keeping platonic friends platonic. So they get all competitive over Eddie, which neither of them actually want to be with. And of course, this girl wants to be with him now that Raven has him. So they end up having a dinner party with Raven hosting, and Eddie and this girl keep flirting, and Eddie is supposed to be with Raven, and it is just a hilarious mess. So Raven comes clean to the whole family, and it's kind of embarrassing. It's like, why did you pretend to date Eddie just to get him away from your cousin? And then her and her cousin get in this big argument about the fact that she believes Raven has the perfect life and Raven believes she has the perfect life. So grass is always greener. They make up. Beautiful ending. Yeah, it's nice seeing one of her visions like change her life for the better as opposed to just get her into more trouble. But all around, this is a really funny episode, and the girl playing her cousin is really good at it. Eddie being at the center of everything, he's a good character to be doing that. Dang. Season 1, episode 12 is called Teach Your Children Well. And in this episode, basically, Raven has a vision that her mom is going to be their new long term substitute. And I've never agreed with a main character more with their flaws, but like, yeah, like her mom acts really embarrassing in the classroom. Raven tries to avoid it at first, but it's very quickly that this vision comes to realization, and the whole rest of the episode is about Raven trying to get her fired. Raven gets more and more embarrassed as this goes on. Like, the mom even interprets the characters to the students in the class. But I swear some of the class likes this. So I don't know why Raven's getting in the way of all that. Everything gets worse when she's offered a permanent position, and suddenly Raven's life seems over. And I'm like thinking, we need a vision at this point, Raven. Like, switch up the plot. I'm nervous for you. She ends up writing a note, kind of trashing her mom and saying how she's feeling, passes it to Eddie, who passes it to Chelsea, and then next thing you know, it gets lost with the graded papers. And of course, her mom is going to inevitably find this. It's super embarrassing. I would feel horrible if my mom found that. I wonder what my mom would teach if she were a teacher. Probably Italian. But not like the language, but like the food. Yeah. Raven gets into her usual hijinks by sneaking into the class at night to try to get this piece of paper back, which is actually kind of sweet. I like that the whole goal is to not hurt somebody's feelings. Like, that kind of means a lot. They trick the teacher into opening doors for them, which is super unrealistic. I can't believe this guy is dumb enough to open and shut a door for Raven to get in. They end up not being able to get it because it's locked, so Raven gets the entire desk, and they take it outside of school, only to be lodged down a hill in on the top of this thing. And it's definitely peak physical comedy. I feel like Hannah Montana never even went this far. Like, it's shot on location. It's really funny. Going to all that trouble, Going to all that trouble, it doesn't even end up working. The mom ends up hearing what the note inevitably said, and even worse, from Raven's actual point of view. And of course, she feels bad, approaches Raven about this whole thing, and they actually make up. And she decides not to take the job long term. It kind of means more to her to have her relationship with her daughter and let her have her space, which I really like. She is a very good mom. I don't know why all the moms on these sitcoms are just like so good, yet the kids act up so horribly. Like, what? But yeah, Teach Your Kids Well is definitely a really good one. Dude, what is the B plot here? I'm like trying to figure out what's going on with Corey in this episode, and it's like very little. Oh, Corey ends up using this as a win for his life because now that his mom's not home, he could have friends over and do a conga line, as you all know young kids want to do when their parents are away. A conga line. I would just steal candy. Honestly, I just ate a lot of candy. Episode 13 is called Driven to Insanity. The whole beginning is about Raven seeing a vision where her parents just say no to her and there's no context, so she's like curious this whole time about it. Then she learns that there's this really attractive guy that wants to go out with her. He works at the movie store, which, wow, that's the first insight I've heard into remembering Blockbuster even a little bit. This is dating the show a lot. But he's 17, so Raven's like kind of nervous about her parents saying no, and realizes, oh wait, that's the vision, of course. So she asks her parents, they say no, and she's just kind of annoyed at the whole situation, and of course, is gonna defy them. Didn't see that coming in a scene sitcom. Luckily, her parents are going out dancing that night, and that kind of insight helps her get away with still trying to go on the date. She has Chelsea and Eddie wait at the house as she tries to go and fully have this date. It's so funny how the show now started to shift into Raven really wanting a boyfriend. Like, that's not all girls think about, but it is written by a guy, Michael Porriez, so I guess that would make sense. So Raven ends up going on this date, and this guy is actually kind of really disgusting. His car smells, he has no manners, and even on the date, he's like making jokes at her, which by the way are kind of funny jokes. I like this guy. I know I'm 27, but 17, that's peak humor for a 17-year-old. Of course, their parents have to be at the same restaurant when this is going on, so Raven is pretty upset about it. They have this whole dance sequence where they say "Opa" and get up and dance, which I'm not sure of a lot of restaurants doing, but I could be wrong. I'm not saying that was true. And so Raven has to like cover herself and dance. They always have this in every episode of That's So Raven where Raven just has to disguise herself, hide, or, something of the sort. And it's hilarious every time. Her parents, of course, give. Oh, she has a vision where Chelsea gets a call from the mom. And so Raven's like, hey, don't answer the phone if my mom calls. Oh well, too late. She calls like right then. And that's when Raven is discovered. She admits to her parents she does not even want to be on this date, and it's like all embarrassing for her. And they're like, "Yep, to know." And they're like, "Well, to learn your lesson, I guess you're gonna have to go home with him." And it's like, whoa. I mean, I get it. Like, it's because he's gross and she doesn't want to be in his car. But obviously, I don't know if that's how parents would react to that situation. Maybe on Hannah Montana they would actually. It's so funny too because there's so many interactions between the parents and her date that only make him look worse. This is definitely one of the worst dates she's been on this season. Like, having finished it, I'm like, that is unbearable. In the B plot, we actually have Corey trying to hit on Chelsea this whole time, and Eddie, like, essentially keeping them apart. Eddie ends up. Oh, how does he do that? Corey keeps trying to demasculate Eddie just so he could get more time with Chelsea, which is actually kind of funny. He ends up making the vacuum explode on him, and Eddie has to dress in kids' clothes, which is really, really funny. In the end, Eddie does get his revenge by spraying whipped cream on him, and there's a part of me that thinks that this was not told to Corey the actor. I feel like that this was not told to Corey's actor. Like, I really feel like this was like a genuine blooper that they managed to work into the plot, which I love when they do that. So yeah, Driven into Insanity, definitely a fun episode. I feel like it's more on the repetitive side because it's just everything the other episodes have been doing. But hey, if it's working, it's working, you know? And yeah, just the shock of the boy not being all he's cracked up to be, that is definitely a fun lesson I don't think the episode focuses on enough. Just because somebody's older than you doesn't mean they're just as mature as you, especially guys, you know, like they are just let's just say they're a little bit late on the maturity thing. When I was 20, I was like 15. And then we got A Dog by Any Other Name. And for me, this is like the weakest episode, 14, because it's about Raven and Chelsea needing to get boyfriends in order to go to this event. And this is like the second or third episode about her trying to get a boyfriend, and it's starting to get a little bit too much. But it actually starts to focus on Chelsea a little bit more. It's more about trying to get her with a guy. And she thinks she gets. And Raven thinks she sees a vision with her liking this guy named Sammy. And it's like, oh, perfect. We just have to find a guy named Sammy that's going to date you. And then, poof, we learn that Sammy's the name of her dog. So apparently that was not a vision about her and a boyfriend, but the dog. And of course, Chelsea gets kind of like tripped up by this and really wants a boyfriend. Meanwhile, Raven has a crush on this guy, but will not tell him and just assumes they're dating. I guess because she has like a vision about it. So she just keeps talking as if she's his boyfriend, and then at the same time has never met him, and Eddie and Chelsea keep reminding her that that's funny. But the borderline stalking thing on Raven's part of just like liking this guy, pursuing him even though he doesn't know who she is, that's like a very like male storyline, I feel like. But it would come across more harassing if it was a male. This is an interesting conversation about fate and like what is inevitably meant to happen versus what you like force to happen. And I like that Chelsea gets that plot line. It definitely does well for her. I feel like the main draw for the comedy in this episode is the fact that Chelsea's dog and the guy she has a crush on have the same name, and she's like, oh, I either need to rename the dog or rename the boy. And I'm like, I don't know if you need to do either of that. Like, you definitely just need to not date him, you know? But of course, Raven doesn't want that. She wants them both to be in relationships, which I guess is a priority for teenagers. So then Raven needs to, I don't know, meet her boyfriend, and he's on the basketball team. So her and Chelsea dress up as dudes, go onto the basketball team and surprise, they're supposed to take off their shirts. It's shirts and skins, and this is like the she's the man moment of the 2000s, where they always thought it was funny for girls to disguise themselves as guys but then be put in a position where they're like clearly no, they're not guys. And yeah, I don't know. This was a weird trope we did, but obviously Raven makes it funny. I just don't think this would be done on TV anymore, you know? Let alone a Disney show. Eddie has his first like full on rap in this episode, and he's pretty fire. You know, these boys are bullying him, and he gets out of it with a really fine, what do we call it? Bar. So instead of actually getting back with the guy because she's upset that she can't get a boyfriend, I like that they don't have her get a boyfriend and that be the solution. Raven just ends up going to the guy that it doesn't work out with and say like he like missed out on a really good girl, and that's kind of the end of the episode. So there is like kind of a win. Just the fact that like it seems to be more about the dog is the thing that like draws me away from the plot, because it's really just like a section of it. So like the title of this episode doesn't make me think of this plot super well, you know? Then we get an episode called Saturday Afternoon Fever. And this is another Raven and Mom episode, which is cool because like their dynamic seems to be a little more of the same, where it's just Raven not wanting to be embarrassed by her mother. And in this episode, basically, they're going to go to a movie with the whole family, and Raven says she has to do something school-wise. But instead, she doesn't. She goes on a date, and it's just her wanting to go on dates this whole season, which, it's fine, I don't care, but I'd like to switch it up, you know? What is the vision? Hmm. You know the man who made Danny Phantom, Butch Hartman? How do you know him? Oh, okay. So Raven's vision in this episode is that her mom is sick. So she's not really worried about going to the movies because they're probably not going to go anyway. Raven asks Eddie to hook her up with this kid, Ricky, whatever. Does the names even matter anymore? And so they're going out to the movies, and it becomes this Raven trying to both be in one movie with her mom at the same time and with this guy in Eddie. And of course she like makes a huge embarrassment out of herself. Like at first it's actually working. I'm like, maybe she could get away with this. And then it's obvious that, like, the movies, she's missing both of the movies. And it's very Sunny with a Chance. Sunny with a Chance did this where she was trying to get together Nico and Grady, so she went to two movies with them and jumped between both, trying to get them to talk to each other. And that's kind of what happens here. I guess this is just the origin episode of that story. So yeah, when Raven's at the movies, we learn that the mom is not actually sick. Like, why is she there? And of course, that's where this back and forth comes into play. She's even interrupted at one point to work behind the popcorn stand, and you could tell the Disney execs were just like, just give Raven a reason to freak out and do something crazy again. And she does. She like knocks the butter in. She makes the butter overflow and keeps trying to hold and ends up holding up an entire line at the movie theater, which is kind of crazy because it's like, you don't work there. This is not your responsibility, Raven. You could have just walked away from this. She's so lucky to get away with this too, because when the family sees her there, of course, like she's caught like red-handed, and she's just like, "Oh no, I read the note Mom left," and of course it's all forgiven. So after all the hijinks, she sits down with the movie and her mom and really misses her. Eddie ends up giving her like a little speech about like why she should respect her mother, which I don't know if any teenager would do that, but okay. And Raven actually starts to feel bad and realizes that like maybe she didn't want to miss this whole movie, and is very thoughtfully opening up to her mom and being like, we need to spend time together. And I'm like, Raven, it's too late. I mean, you're a teenager. It's a Saturday. Like, do you have to go out with your parents? I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, the vision makes sense because her mom's not actually sick. She's just crying from the movie she sees. And this is where I get confused, because the visions should be from Raven's perspective, but sometimes she's in the vision, and this is one of the times where it is from her perspective because it's the profile of the mom's head. So why isn't it consistent? And it also bothers me because she could see visions of things that she's not even in the room for. So she's a psychic, but like she could also like I don't even know what that means. Chat? No, just kidding. By the end, she learns the time with her mother is precious, and she actually gives up the date to hang out with her mom for the rest of the day. Sweet ending, great. Would never happen on Hannah Montana, though. Then we get season 1, episode 16, a fight at the opera, which I knew there was musical episodes, I knew there was episodes with people singing in it, but did I know that they were going to make opera references? No, operas are crazy boring. Like, it's not, I'm a big fan of musical theater. Do not get me wrong. You could literally see that I'm working on a musical right now called The Consequences of Victoria Gray, about like this girl that was born without emotion and forced to be this public executionist. And since she has no emotion, everything she does is kind of easy for her until she like gets her emotions back. Point of the story is I'm not against operas. I think it's great to have but operas specifically are always 3 hours long. The singing does not stop, and the rules just seem so counterintuitive to the audience, making it like a hard medium to get really excited about. Maybe we should change it up. So the teacher is super into opera, and Raven and Chelsea work together on a project. This is really a best friends episode, and both of them have their own idea about how to tackle the project. One, they agree that they want to do an opera, because obviously they'll get the teacher's good side, and then Raven has a vision that this is going to actually go really well, but they don't know how yet. Raven wants to make this about shopping, this opera they're creating, and Chelsea wants to make it about the environment. And Raven's is ridiculously capitalist, and Chelsea's is ridiculously too environmentalist. So I don't see why either would show a good opera. And also, when did you have to perform an opera in order to, in front of a bunch of people, in order to get a grade? Like, I can't believe they had a whole night devoted to this. Rosie. That's Rosie. She wants to come in. Should I let her in? Meanwhile, in the B-plot, which, by the way, I've been dodging B-plots because sometimes they're just not in the episode, but this one's funny. Corey actually tells his mom and dad separately, or Corey actually pits his mom and dad against each other, being like, which one could cook better? And then gets like free treats for like the rest of the year until they realize what he's up to. And they're like, you're just trying to get us to cook you food. And it's all part of this like cookbook he wants to make. And it really is just manipulating them. And then in the end, they catch up on it. And that's not really a lot of consequences. Like, that's not a big deal. But Raven and Chelsea full-on break up because of this situation. I never realized a school project you had to take seriously would be that intense, but I guess it is. Eddie ends up bringing them back together by showing them some home videos, but alas, it does not work. They do not come to an agreement. They still can't get back together, and I'm kind of sad at this point because I like them as friends. They end up doing the performance with both of them being scheduled to go on at the same time, thanks to Eddie. Eddie's actually a real hero in this episode. Not like Oliver from Hannah Montana. He is a bad person. And not even just the actor playing him. Like, the character that they've written is not a great person. And they basically make fun of themselves all on stage and realize how much they need each other and want to be in each other's lives, and why would they give it up for a project? Which, I agree. I'm just happy it's not another dating episode. So that's A Fight at the Opera, and the girls end up winning. Congrats. Then we have the episode Psychics Wanted. Season 1, Episode 17. And this one really excited me. Unlike the first one, where Raven found out that there's a bunch of other people in the school that also have psychic abilities, this one is also about psychic abilities, building on the lore. So there's this scam company, essentially, that has a TV show, and they take in calls, and it's a fortune teller saying exactly how their future will go. That's just a little bit of context. The episode's really about Raven wanting money, and her parents are not going to give it to her because obviously she only uses it for shopping. That's all she cares about. Another teen stereotype. And she has a crush on this little jazz musician at the school, which seems like irrelevant, but that'll come up later. So in order to get this money, she goes to... She follows the ad to Psychics Wanted and sees this TV show being produced. And she kind of admits to the business guy, hey, like, I'm a psychic too. And he's like, well, aren't we all? And they learn that it is just a scam, essentially. Like, nobody there is psychic. So Raven didn't technically reveal her information. And then we get to the same conversation of there's not a lot of consequences to Raven when she admits that she's psychic. Like, I feel like people don't really make her life not normal. Like, it never really seems to be that huge of a deal. Like, even in this, like, they just kind of throw it out, and she's just like, yeah, I'm a psychic. So I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, so she ends up being on the phone lines, and she just says to people, like, I had a vision last night, and learns, like, the scam of it all. Then Eddie and Chelsea even get roped into this. They want money, too, and all three of them become, like, pretty good at it. Eventually, the fortune teller that's, like, the head of this wants a raise, doesn't get it, so they ask Raven to step up and be the fortune teller, which is kind of crazy because they don't realize, technically, that makes it not a scam anymore. So Raven gets a call from the jazz kid at school, and he's like, oh, how do I get into my college? And she's like, I have a vision. You have to ask out Raven Baxter. And he's like, oh, okay. He shows up to Raven's house and has a girlfriend already. Oh my gosh. I can't believe Raven didn't even fact check that. So that's the issue with Raven having a crush on all these guys, wanting to go out with them, and then finding out later that they had a boyfriend. She keeps going down this... It's hard because I get it, you know? Like, you're a passionate person. You love somebody. But love at first sight is not real. Sorry. No, that got real for a second. Anyway. Yeah, so they show up. Raven's super disappointed, and I kind of feel bad for him because she manipulated him. He ends up calling again the next day. Turns out he didn't get in, so Raven's vision was wrong. What? And it's like, how did she have a vision that this guy... did or did not get into the college he wanted? Like, she was not there to physically see it, so why would it be in the vision? I don't know. in the end, she exposes this whole thing as a scam on live television when the other fortune teller comes back, and there's not a crazy amount of conclusive, oh my god, yes there is. And it's kind of sweet because Raven and the fortune teller end up bonding, and even though it's not like technically real, it's still sweet to see her get along with an adult, I guess. That's when we get season 1, episode 18, If I Only Had a Job. And this is a parody from Wizard of Oz, If I Only Had a Brain, because the Scarecrow. Is that the Scarecrow? Chad? No, no, no. But yeah, it's basically Raven's trying out for the Wizard of Oz, and the episode's not really about that. So she's trying out for the Wizard of Oz. She really wants to be Dorothy. She loves to sing, which every Disney Channel star does. And meanwhile, she has a vision that her dad loses her job. Meanwhile, she has a vision. Hey, Luke. Meanwhile, she has a vision that her dad lost her. I get distracted. But then she has a vision that her dad, Victor, lost his job. And then she decides to basically not worry about the theater thing as much and goes to the job to talk the boss out of firing Victor. And little did she know, that's the exact reason why he got fired, because she came and interrupted their work. Victor doesn't seem too, like, burned off about it, but Raven's like, no, it's a job, he has to have a job, we're capitalist society. No, I don't care that much. But, so then she feels horrible for her dad and decides... So she feels horrible for her dad and realizes, like, there has to be a way she can get his job back. Meanwhile, she notices that the guy who is his boss is actually a really big jerk. Definitely borderline racist, the way he's, like, more intimidated by people of the black descent than other people. I don't even know how to say that in a socially appropriate way. Yeah, I just think he's a little racist. He just doesn't treat them the same, and so Raven kind of uses this to her advantage, and she dresses up like a celebrity and comes to say, like, she's gonna eat here, but only if Victor's still there. And then when he says, no, Victor's fired, she freaks out and, like, has this whole deal. And it's like, nobody's gonna ever come here again. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of funny. But then everybody expects her to sing. And this is where, like, the whole musical theater thing comes into hand, because obviously she just tried for the Wizard of Oz and now she has to sing something. Eddie only knows how to play When the Saints Come Marching In, so that's the song they sing to the whole restaurant, and it's like such a random song to get up and dance to, and it gets a not... But of course, nothing can go perfectly. We have no normal episode if Raven's not putting on a wig and embarrassing herself. That's when the theater teacher shows up, the woman who didn't give her the part. So now she's about to be exposed, until she ends up ruining it on her own. Like, I think it's pretty obvious to the manager that she just broke in, tried to get Victor's job back. And, yeah. Victor finds out and actually tells her it's a good thing, that maybe, like, bad things only happen because the universe is, like, making it so that better things can come along. And I think that's a really good plot. I love how stable Victor is this whole time. He, like, never is worried he lost his job, and still continuously, like, you know, promotes positivity. My favorite part of the episode, though, is Corey impersonating a celebrity. Like, I, for a second, thought that he was the actual voice of this female celebrity, but he's just a young kid, and his voice is really high, so he got away with it. But, like, just imagine the dad, like, walking in on that phone call. Like, I'd be like, why are you talking about me to my boss in a voice like that? Next is season 1, episode 19, The Escape Clause. And this is a Christmas episode, if the title wasn't enough. And it's like actually a pretty good episode. I feel like it's the perfect thing to watch during Christmas time. I feel like I would be nostalgic for an episode like this cuz of course like everything is Christmas themed. Like they go to the mall, they do all the stereotypical like the trees set up. Like Disney Channel really went all out on Christmas. So Raven basically finds out what she's going to get for Christmas before she gets it, and she's like, whoa, a necklace like that, that's awesome, I want to get that. So she opens the gift, starts wearing it around school, and lo and behold, something happens because of it. It's like these sitcom kids never learn. It's almost like they're actors. Oh my god. Write this down. No, I'm just kidding. So Chelsea and Eddie do not help. They essentially end up throwing the necklace out the window, and Raven is like, wow, I'm screwed. They're gonna find out that I had the vision and used this. It's funny though because the parents actually acknowledge that she could have had this vision. They were like, did you have a vision? And it's still curious to me how in or out of the loop they are with how much they know about Raven. They don't seem to talk about it a lot for parents with a psychic daughter. I feel like if I had a psychic daughter, I'd be worried all the time. But like they really don't account for it having anything to do with her life. Like they don't get involved in it. It seems like they're like kind of steering clear of it. I only know this because of Hannah Montana. Like her popularity life kind of leaks into everybody else's existence. Same thing with like Robbie Ray and Jackson. Like they all have commentary on like how she goes about things because they could be affected by it too. But here it's just like these parents just don't care, I guess. So they end up getting to the mall, skipping school. Oh my gosh, never seen that happen. I always wonder, like, did people really skip school that much and that's why they're writing about it? I don't know. Uh. Hey, Tyler. Oh, are you going to say Pablo? Yeah, I did know that. I did know Andre was Pablo. So they end up seeing the Santa Claus at the mall, and it turns out to be their teacher, which is cool because they kind of talk about it earlier in the episode. They're like, that's our teacher. Like, he is the midterm exterminator, and he's like intense. And I'm like, why does that have to do with anything? And this is where it comes up because obviously, if the teacher's there at the mall, he's going to bust them. But it doesn't really happen that way. They get a picture taken with the Santa Claus, and the kids are like, uh-oh. And then Raven has a vision being like, oh, that picture is exactly what's going to get me caught in this situation. So they end up going with their parents to the mall and trying to avoid them seeing that picture. And it's so funny because, like, I thought the episode would have ended here, but of course now she needs to keep going on with the charade and still inevitably get away with this. And of course, they find some way to put Raven in a wig again. To distract them from seeing the picture, she dresses up as the mall Santa and starts making a lot of crazy stuff happen. I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm just saying it's every episode at this point. And then Santa's like, you're psychic. And she's like, teacher, how did you know I was a psychic? And then they're like, I'm actually Santa. And I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, he must actually be Santa because nobody else knows that information about her. I don't know. I also don't know why they have to do that in kids shows. Like, why do they have to prove Santa's real? It feels random. And then by the end of the episode, they have Raven just sing Silent Night for 3 minutes. And that's where you could tell they're really starting to try to bring in this pop star persona for all the Disney actresses. Like, the Disney actresses, all the Disney actresses. Because it's like, why would you just out of context just sing for 3 minutes straight? I mean, I guess it's a Christmas episode, sure. But like, Silent Night? Like, what a boring song for 3 minutes. And it's not even like summarizing the events of the episode. It's not really going into anything at all. It's just her singing Silent Night. Another time where I'm like, Hannah Montana made sense to do something like that, but like, why? Why does this have to happen? Of course, it reminds me of the Wizards of Waverly Place thing where Shakira was on it and Alex and her sang for like 3 minutes also. And I'm like, guys, we get it. You want them to be singers. I know you want them to be singers. But they're people. They're people. Keep that in, please. Okay, let's go to the next episode. Oh my gosh. I don't know the next 2 episodes, actually. I'm going to stop recording. Okay. Done recording, guys. Thanks for joining me on that. I am tired. I did watch the Wayside animated series. Did you? Oh my god, that's such a throwback. I didn't really get to see most of it, but I did watch a lot of it. What are your guys' favorite shows? Everybody in chat, let me know. I'm curious. Okay, so then we have Season 1, Episode 10, Ye Old Dating Game. That situation happened. Your dance to be... And Eddie is like... Yeah, this was fun, Tyler. Thanks for joining. Tyler, are you a writer? I'm a writer. But that's... Yeah, Drake and Josh is definitely non-cartoon, but it's definitely worth it. I feel like that's just such a fun show to watch. How many episodes did I watch today? Oh, I covered 10 to 19. Yeah, Chowder was so good. Who here watched Chowder? Nice to meet you, Tortoise. I almost called you Taurus. Yes, I am a writer and I write scripts. I went to school for film. And now here I am, being a YouTuber. It's not like I don't love it. It's just I'd rather write musicals. Or write things I want people to see as opposed to just do things that people want me to do. But I've been finding my own like voice in it. I really like doing this in general. Like so I think I'm going to do this for a while. Even if I learned that you don't have to be one thing ever. You know, like I could always write for the rest of my life, but YouTube's just a fun side gig. I think if I took writing so seriously, I would never have been a YouTuber. Because I would have been like, no, that's not writing. But everything's writing. And it's so much easier to love everything when it's all the thing you want to do, writing. So I like writing. Do you write any type of scripts, Tyler? Like any certain genres? Anything stick out to you? Oh, Clarence, I heard that's a good one. I never watched it, though, because it was kind of later than I was used to on the Cartoon Network sort of thing. Did you watch it, Luke? Like, was that... Oh, yeah, it's your favorite. Oh, how did I not know that? I've been doing so many videos, guys. I'm so exhausted. It's just been, like, a really hard month for YouTube, honestly. Whoa. Tyler, I totally relate to that. I'm, like, astonished at how relatable I can find that. I also am I'm so bad with words, so I have, like, a tendency to want to write so I could be specific, precise. Like, I just want to be prepared for every social situation, because that, to me, that's, like, the hardest skill, and I'm like, I'd rather spend the whole life working on my hardest skill than just sitting back and, like, not, getting people being like, what are you saying? Like, how are you saying it? But now, like, that it's an art, it's communication, it's just so fun to write. Let me let Rosie in real quick. We need a guest star in this episode. Oh my god, the Ravens theme song is stuck in my head because it is so good, guys. Who forgot how good the Ravens That's So Ravens theme song is? It's too good for its own good. I'll say that. Okay. Ravens ready. Ugh. I really hope I could fit the entire first season of Raven into one video, because I'm so tired of doing the half a season, then the other half a season. Credible ship. Oh, Creddy or Seti? I don't know. I kind of just want to be into uh Freddy and Carly just for the convenience of it all, because they had the whole reboot. I don't feel like discounting all that, you know? Let me let Rosie in. Hi, Rosie. What's wrong? Oh my gosh, you guys are hungry, but I'm live streaming. Okay, I'm coming back. Hi, what's up, Andy? Wait, Tyler, which ship are you? Creddy or Seti? Sam and Spencer? Yeah, there's just like a ridiculously huge age gap there that you have to be worried about. The maturity does not align. Not that Spencer's more mature than her. God forbid I said that. Gosh. Should probably get ready on... Oh, you guys got to see how I... Oop. You guys have to see how I make my thumbnails. Okay. Oh, dang. Is there time to release an episode? There's not even time to release a new video tonight. Unless I do. Does it really matter when I post? Ugh, I always get in this conundrum where it's like, I want to post every day, but people don't want to hear from me every day. Nothing wrong with that. It's a normal thing. You shouldn't want to hear anybody every day. I like to say the situation, then I end up misbehaving. It's up to you. It's up to me. What's up to me? The future? Ugh, now I've got That So Raven stuck in my head about all this, you know? Okay, everybody. I'm going to acknowledge how tired I am and get off for a little bit. But it's really nice, like, oh, hey. She got scared when I said, oh. Rosie, do you want to hang out? Yeah, me and Rosie gotta go hang out, guys. She's a cute one. I don't know if I have a favorite character on Victorious. I kind of hate Victorious. Do I hate it or oh, you wanna do it? Wait, she wants to rap. Oh my gosh, Rosie. She's so embarrassed about her rap career. Rosie, could you hear her for a second? Rosie, Tyler says hello. Do you say hello back? Wait, you answer the question. Rosie, Tyler said hello. Do you say hello back? Tyler, you made her uncomfortable. Nothing wrong. Yes. Yeah, I'm just teasing, by the way. Not taking this actually seriously. Just need to make that clear. Okay, well, I do... okay. Yeah, I'm gonna... Oh, you do that with your dog? That's so funny. My cats are attacking each other. That's the clear sign to get out of here. Sinjin! Okay. Have a good night, everybody.